Okay.
All right.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Sharpen That Axe, a podcast dedicated to strengthening your skills as a guitar player. It's been a few weeks. That feels kind of weird to say, but I'm still saying it anyway. Are we recording?
We are recording.
We are recording. Good.
We are recording.
John, who are you?
Who am I? I'm John. And who are you?
I'm Dylan. At least I
Hey.
think I am. This Masters has thrown me into an existential crisis where I don't know who I am anymore. Welcome, everybody, to our... It's been a while since we've done this, so we're just getting back into the swing. But welcome. How you been doing?
Surviving. We're mostly done with all our work.
Our
coursework, so that's good. And so if you should go back and check out the previous episodes.
Yes, we are still figuring out how to get this distributed beyond the SoundCloud realm, but that'll basically take a pot of coffee and maybe an hour of Googling, giving it googs. So we are back with one of our... Okay, so we're going to try a new thing this week, guys. We're going to try, hopefully, a new weekly segment called Lick of the Week. And how this is going to be is each week, one of us is going to present a lick that we think is just freaking cool, and the other one is going to react. So...
I'm kind of excited.
Yeah,
I know. Wait. Dylan gets to go first.
I get to go first. This is very exciting for me. So I'm going to play a lick for John, and we're going to play it for you guys over, and then we're going to get his reaction. Okay, so this is my lick of the week. I'm not going to say who it is. You know who it is, but the audience.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's mental.
It is. That is of Megalodon by Mastodon, which is their album Leviathan, which is basically, if you don't know, John, is their Moby Dick themed album.
Oh,
yes.
I did not know that.
No, it's all based on Herman Melville's Moby Dick.
Now I have to go back and listen to it again.
It's freaking cool. That album has so many different things going on. It's my favorite Mastodon album that they've made. I think they're on their 6th or 7th album, but that track in particular, I remember hearing that. Because you heard the before and after. It's basically kind of like standard raw Cookie Monster rock. But then that just comes out of nowhere. It's Brent Hines, I think, is the guitar player.
Right.
And I remember hearing him in an interview talk about it, and he was just talking about, we didn't know what was going on there. I had to do something, so he pulls out that chicken licking.
It's amazing. It's
rock.
Completely out of context.
It completely is.
And it's brilliant.
It's so good. I
love it.
I love, as we've talked before about my love of John 5, I love the melding of country and metal, and I think that does it really well. And you can tell he's doing it on some ridiculous spiky guitar like a Flying V or something like that. Chicken picking on a Flying V. That is...
It can be done.
It is ridiculous. Friends, it's time for Pedal Talk.
Ooh, Pedal Talk. And what have we on the docket today?
Well... We've done a lot of things already. We've done this is our 8th episode, I believe, and we are...
That's what the numbers say.
That's what the numbers say. That's what the Google Doc says. And now we feel it's time, friends, to trench into the world of delay.
Oh, the swimmy, swirly, echoey cloudness. I've no more. I was
going to let you keep going with that.
But just sort of, I don't know, delay sort of lifts you on a cloud of tone and floats you out into oblivion. The audience.
Man, you are painting dark with words today, my friend.
Yeah.
Delay. There's so many different uses for it. There's so many different examples of great uses of delay. John, in your mind, when I say the word delay effect on a guitar, what comes to your mind?
Space, like huge amounts of space, cavernous.
The final frontier.
Yeah.
Any musical examples?
I think the first thing they're going to probably pull to is going to be like
the edge. Yeah. We should have like a bell.
Yeah.
Yes, the Edge, born Dave Evans. Who I think, what was it he used? Was it like a Music Man or something?
The Memory Man.
Memory Man, that's it.
Yeah.
And the first big use, I think, was it the Joshua Tree?
Unforgettable Fire.
Unforgettable Fire. Yeah. That was it.
Classic album, really. I used to be a huge U2 fan. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
But I think the Unforgettable Fire has a lot of looked over tracks.
Cool. Give us an example off the top of your head. Putting you on the spot today.
A Sort of Homecoming is probably
cool.
A good one.
I need to go back and listen to that. I love 80s U2, but I pretty much just know the hits. But like they're all pretty much drenched in that delay.
Yeah, Bad off of Joshua Tree would be a really good
excellent example.
Where at the end of that song, and it just goes mental, and it's like you're in some sort of echo chamber, and the Edge is just like running around you with the guitar.
Perfect.
It's mental.
So now we're going to talk about, because we're going to do we spread this over a couple of episodes, we're going to talk about it.
Because there's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot. Delay, it's a whole new world. Aladdin, 1991. So we're going to talk about an intro to delay. So John, you were going to talk us about different types of delay, what they're used for, maybe examples. Kick us off, Sensei.
Okay, so basically there's three main types of delay. You've got your tape delay, which is probably the oldest. It's usually the most expensive these days. It's what all the real hipsters want to get their hands on. Or these
it's like the vinyl of delays.
Yeah,
the warmth, man.
It is, yeah. And there, to be fair, there is a lot of warmth in the tape. There's a lot of unpredictability in the tape, which makes it like great for some really crazy shoegazer stuff. So,
cool. And why is it called tape?
Because it actually uses magnetic tape. So it has a reel of tape in it, and what it does is it records the lick on one head, and then as it goes across, it'll kind of keep that going through another playback head, or maybe two or three, depending upon the settings and how the thing works. But unfortunately, they're big, they're clunky, they're expensive. You do have to replace the tape on them. Some people in the studio, though, will use them, and they'll purposefully kind of like garble up the tape or crunch it up, and it just makes like some really crazy sounds. But they're expensive, they're hard to manage, and so typically people don't use them for live stuff anymore because you don't have to.
So that brings us maybe to the next type. Yeah,
so the analog delays. And an analog comes from very early analog signal processors.
Right.
That's essentially, it's still like a semiconductor, but what they would do is it's what's called a bucket brigade chain signal. So if you're familiar with the idea of like a bucket brigade, like to put out a fire, right?
Okay, right.
Yeah. So it's like you pass a bucket of water, down the line, or essentially you take one bucket and you fill up another bucket, and that person fills up another bucket, and you go down the line.
And they tell two friends, and they tell two friends.
Exactly. So it's the same thing with this type of processor. So it takes the signal, and then it passes it down and passes it down and passes it down. And then what the delay setting does is it just holds that signal a little bit longer or shorter, depending upon what you want it to do.
Okay.
So that's a traditional analog delay. And so an example of that would be like the MXR carbon copy, the famous Electro Harmonix Memory Man, the Edge used, and we were just talking about that.
Cool.
That's an example of those. So lastly, you've got the digital, which is all microprocessor. So you take the signal and you process it through. And usually it's going to be something like your Boss DD series. So they're currently on 7.
I got me the 6, man.
Nice.
I really like it.
And there's a ton of versatility out there. There's a couple of videos out there on YouTube that you can see all the extra things, kind of all the hidden features. Of the
time warps and everything is crazy.
Yeah, so you can play forever with one of those. Or maybe like the TC Electronics Nova series. Eventide's got a really good one as well. And of course, everybody's favorite right now, the Strymon. So,
yes.
Of course, the timeline on that, which can do just about anything. Now, a lot of these, like the Eventide, the TC, and the Strymon, all can model, to a certain extent, tape and analog delays.
Yeah.
So it kind of begs the question at this point in time, is it worth having a tape delay ever for any reason, unless you're purposefully doing something to the tape?
The warmth, John.
The warmth. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's kind of basic overview. Like you said, we'll get more into how to use it, what you can do with it.
Cool.
Examples, players.
Next week's episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Unreal.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, my friends. Keep watching.
Don't fall asleep.
So now we're going to do something a little bit different. John, you got in contact with one of your old guitar professors.
We have joining us Dr. Colin McAllister. He's the director of the music program at the University of Colorado Springs. He's one of the preeminent modern guitar players in the United States. He just released a course with the great courses on learning guitar. Definitely worth checking it out. We've got him here today to kind of talk a little bit about the course, how it's structured, and how he practices and how he recommends practicing. So, Colin, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, tell us a little bit about your course. Tell us how it's organized, what you got in there, and why we should take it.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, it's produced by a company called The Great Courses. They're out of Virginia, and they do courses on all kinds of things. Primarily, they used to do academic subjects, and now they've branched off into doing more how-to courses.
Okay,
so
cool.
This is the first ever how to play a musical instrument course. It's called Learning to Play Guitar, Chords, Scales, and Solos. It's a course designed for beginners, so you don't have to know anything about the guitar or anything about music for that matter. Mm-hmm. And I take them through 24 lessons. They're about 30 to 35 minutes each. And we cover all kinds of things. It's organized basically in 5 different modules for each lesson. So the first module addresses technique. The second one is on note reading and musicality. The third one is chords. The fourth module is on scales and improvisation. And then for the fifth, what I did is I wrote an original tune for each lesson that incorporates the aspects that we've been working on during the lesson. So let's say if a lesson uses hammer-ons and we learn the Dorian scale and we learn the voicing for a minor 7 chord, well, the song at the end is going to put those things into practice. So it's kind of fun because the students right away get to apply what they've been working on. Excellent.
So it has, like you said, it's got 24 of them. But I'm seeing here, I'm looking at it and they're like, there's all kinds of things. So it's not, you said it's for beginners, but it's not just for beginners. I mean, there's things in here like flamenco technique and, not to be confused with flamingo, but flamenco. We've, jazz harmony, altered tunings, like it's not just for beginners, right? I mean, there's something for everybody kind of here.
I mean, you can certainly take it as a beginner because it starts from the very beginning with which the names of the strings are and what are and all of that. Right. But I think there's stuff in there for most folks who are at an intermediate level because you can go through and pick and choose the things that maybe you don't know as well. Let's say that there's somebody who has only been playing classical guitar and they're great at that. Well, probably they can skip the segments on note reading because they already know it, but maybe they do want to go to the segments where I talk about accompanying using a pick and improvising over using modal scales and that kind of thing.
Okay, excellent. And I mean, it's got 24 lessons. It's available as a video download. It looks like, I mean, even if you're not catching it on one of their discount days, it comes out to less than $10 a lesson, right?
Oh yeah, and they always rotate their courses that are on sale. So when it's on sale, it's $70, which is less than I charge for 1 hour, right? So
oh my gosh!
So I'm telling all of my students, anybody who comes to me for guitar lessons, from this point forward, I'll tell them, hey, take this course first. Get your money's worth out of it, and then come and see me, because otherwise I'm going to end up teaching you basically the same things that are in this course at the beginner, and I'm going to charge you a lot more money for it. So don't do it.
No, I'm going to turn that around on you and sort of plug your normal teaching schedule for you. Now, one of the things we've talked about here on the podcast has been essentially to get yourself out of a rut, take a lesson. And part of that is we find it helps to sort of keep us motivated. I mean, would you sort of agree with that? Like something like this could also be a really good supplement to a regular lesson as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not trying to take regular human interaction out of the equation. That's certainly really important. And this could be a great supplement to somebody who's taking lessons that just wants some extra material to work on, extra tunes to learn, different point of view, right? Every teacher approaches a certain aspect of guitar playing a little differently. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's nice to get a second point of view. And some of the reviews that have come out on the course, people have been saying just that. Like, oh, I've been taking lessons for a while, but this is a great addition to what I'm already doing.
Excellent. Okay. So I'm curious too, you mentioned somewhere, I think in your social media about this, that you kind of took this approach from CrossFit. Can you explain a little bit more about how you see practicing and maybe this CrossFit routine, how the two kind of overlap? And then whether it's in the design of your course or even your day-to-day practice, what does that look like for you?
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I love those kinds of fitness things where you go and you move quickly through some kind of routine, like Orange Theory, for instance, or
right.
where they have somebody that's, you do something for 3 or 4 minutes and then you move on to something else and you get
keeps you from getting bored.
Yeah, and you get a really intense workout in a short amount of time. So I like to approach practicing that same way because I think it keeps us really fresh when we practice that way, and it's ultimately more efficient. And of course, the more we get involved with life, the longer, say, you're out of school.
Right.
When you're in school, when I was in graduate school, I had the luxury of practicing 6 hours a day. That was part of the time that I have.
Oh, man.
Of course, don't have that anymore. And so now I myself need to be more efficient in how I approach practicing if I want to get anything done. So, so that's the course is structured in a similar way to how I approach my own practicing on the instrument.
Okay, so you would typically, you might start with warm-ups or something like that, or technical exercises.
So for me, what I always start with technique every day. I do a good warm-up, and then I look at what it is that I need to accomplish in my own practicing, and usually that involves preparing for performances.
Right.
And then I organize my time into blocks, say 30 or 45-minute blocks, and I go from there.
Why 30 or 45 minutes?
Well, for me, I find that that's about as long as I can maintain really high concentration.
Right. Well, I think most of the research...
After 45 minutes, I want to get up and stretch a little bit or what have you.
I think that's a good idea, particularly because playing guitar is so bad for your posture.
Especially if you're playing in a classical position where you've got your leg up and you're sitting really straight.
Right.
I think you need to stretch out and take a break.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of research out there too that suggests like 30 to 45 minutes is about the max that you can have a really focused and productive work session. Mm-hmm. So now, do you try to block out your practice then? Is it all at once, or does it end up sort of throughout the day? Like maybe you get a little bit in after lunch, or you get a little bit in before bed, or is it all in one go for you?
Yeah, that's, it really kind of depends on the day. Mm-hmm. It just depends on what I have, what I need to do, let's say at the university. I mean, if I have teaching or meetings that are earlier in the morning, well, maybe I get some of my practice done in the morning and then some later. If I don't have to go in until noon, well, then I'll usually do all of my practicing in the morning. So it really depends. I think I had a very fine teacher in graduate school who told me that the best was to practice 3 times a day if you could, to divide so I think it's really good, if possible, to divide it up. But I think everybody's day is different, and you have to adjust for that.
Yeah. So flexibility is actually really part of it. Now, would you normally sort of schedule the night before, or maybe wake up that morning and go, okay, this is what I need to do? You write it out. Do you sort of keep a log of what you are working on or how things are going, or is it all sort of mental for you?
I used to be really diligent about keeping written logs of what I was practicing. And that was very effective. I think now I don't keep records, but I definitely each day I jot down what my practice goal is for the day, even just to divide. Say if I have 2 hours to practice, I'll jot that down just before I start practicing so that I know to stay on track. And I use an alarm. So if I'm working in 45-minute blocks, I'll set the alarm on my phone for 45 minutes so that I can just work, and then the alarm goes off, and then I switch to something else.
I like it. So some big features then. You've got you're breaking up your practice accordingly, 30, 40-minute chunks so that you stay focused. You have a goal when you start practicing. And I think these are all things, like, personally, I learned a lot of this from you. So, but we're kind of out here sort of sharing it with the rest of the universe. But that's, for me, that was really instrumental, talking to you about some of these things. So definitely appreciate that. Anyway, the course then, is, as you said, it's available then on thegreatcourses.com. And where can we find a little bit more about what you're working on, what you're doing? Like, where can we get updates for you?
Sure. I think the best is just to go to my website, which is just colinmcallister.com.
Okay. Easy enough. And that's McAllister, correct?
That's right. And one L in Colin.
Right. That's the number of L's is super important there. Anyway, Colin, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show today. And hopefully we'll get to talk to you soon. Good luck with the great courses, and we'll be in touch.
Sounds good, John. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, not a problem.
That was a really, really cool interview. Fair play for getting in touch. And thank you very much, Colin, for helping us out with this. I really like the idea of the whole keeping a log idea. Yeah. My whole log idea, I have one, and it's on my desk at home, and it's just looking at me in the face.
Yeah.
And yours is right in front of you.
I've got it right here. Even
today. I just have not had the time, but I'm really looking forward to, because I'm moving house right now and got gigs and everything. It's kind of hard to structure. But next Tuesday, I'm going to get my log. I'm going to make my goals. And You're going to call me and you're going to make sure that I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you need to do the same to me.
Yeah. So accountability buddies.
I like the term.
Absolutely.
Guitar accountability buddies.
We'll find a way to
get to Billabud. I can't even say it.
Neither can I. Now we're
so gone.
We're back to our famous segment, what we've been working on. So, John, you can kick us off. What you've been working on.
So in the middle of all this craziness, working on papers and thesis and all that fun stuff, I was listening back to this old Dream Theater record, Change of Seasons, which came out in 1995 or something to that effect. About 11 minutes in or something, there's this like bizarre jazz breakdown, like they do, and but there's this lick that really caught my ear, and I was like, okay, what is that? It sounds like something else. And I went back and I found a lick from a Toto album in 1999. Yes, Toto was still making records in 1999.
God, that's bleak.
And their song, A Better World, and I was like, these sound exactly the same. And it's something that actually had bugged me, about 10 years ago, and I never did anything with it. So this week I sat down and was like, all right, what is this? I'm going to figure this out finally. So I learned both licks and then kind of compared and contrasted. And they're mostly different, but there is this like one section, this one phrase, it's about a bar that is the same. It's just an octave apart. And I was like, okay. So I felt mildly justified that my ear was not messing with me.
That is so nerdy.
Yeah.
Sorry, God.
White and nerdy. That's me.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's what you've been working on.
So that's what I worked on this week.
Sounds good, man.
But Steve Lukather lick and John Petrucci lick. I think that's a good week's work, I'd say.
Absolutely. God, you're putting me to shame. John, I sat down. I haven't really been learning because I've been gigging and playing my own music and playing music for Stephen Sharp. I've been basically kind of relearning my own stuff, which we talked about before.
Right. How'd the gig go, by the way?
Gig went really well. Thank you very much. Thank you for the RC booster pedal.
Absolutely.
Beautiful pedal, everybody. Exotic Effects, if you're listening.
Yes.
Sponsor us.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
We'll try out more of your pedals.
Absolutely. No, I really, really liked it. I got a lot of hell ton of compliments.
Sweet.
I wanted to swear there, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Discipline. And afterwards, and so basically, what I've been working on for the last week was basically trying to get the best possible tone out of the pedals that I had.
That's a huge amount of effort.
Just basically changing the signal path and figuring out what pedals, because I was basically working with the Blues Driver, my DD6, like I said, the RC booster, and an equalizer pedal. So trying to figure out what I was using for what songs. So basically sitting down and spending some time, and it felt great. It felt really, really good. Making notes about what sounded good for where, and I found myself actually using my for a lot of the songs, just locking in with the drummer and using that for the tap tempo on my delay.
Oh yeah,
I found it was great. I found it, like, just for little things, it's such a cool feature on the DD6.
Absolutely,
just being able to do that. I remember watching a guitar player that I used to play with when we used to play with or without you, and him using it so well. Just the tapping along with the drummer was so cool. Yeah, so that's basically what I've been working on. And what have you been listening to, John?
Oh, you're going to go ahead and skip that. I was going to get you to plug the album a little bit more.
Yes, Stephen Sharp and the Broke Straight Boys, Shut Up Dylan. The guitar took me so long to put down. 27 takes, and that was the best one. It's now available on Spotify and online. Just type it in. Don't type in Broke Straight Boys by itself, because something different is going to come up. Perhaps an illicit website. You've been warned.
Anyway, yes. What have we been listening to?
Yeah, what have you been listening to?
Well, because of the Dream Theater and the Toto. Yeah, I actually went back and listened to that Toto album from 1999. It's called Minefields. And actually there's
Dear God.
Mind with an N-D as opposed to an N-E.
Oh God.
Yeah. Actually, there's some great musicianship on there. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that album. The thing is about Toto that most people don't realize is, like, these guys are studio musicians, right? So, like, they are actually really great musicians. Now, that said, not everyone's going to like their music, all right? And, most of the time I'm on here plugging things like Animals as Leaders and Periphery and loud, annoying shred music. So, it's a little divergence, I suppose.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd say give it a run through, have a listen, have a laugh.
I will definitely check that out.
But there are some solos in there that will melt your face.
Yeah, because, even just going back, that Hold the Line solo, it's one of my favorite guitar solos ever, because it just comes out of nowhere, and it's not so much self-indulgent. It is a little bit, but it's what the song needs at that pace, that 6/8 beat.
Yeah, really, or go listen to, like, anything off of 4, like Rosanna, for example.
Yeah,
that's actually a wicked solo.
Like,
you can laugh all you want about the song, but it's wicked solo.
That drum beat as well.
Yeah, the shuffle. That's the classic shuffle, man.
Cool.
Yourself.
I'm going to music festival in the first week in June, and I basically have made myself a playlist of all the bands playing. Now, it's not a lot of guitar music, but there is some. I found this band called Triptych, who basically make dance music but with real instruments.
Oh yeah. It's
really, really cool. And I've been getting back into Against Me, who are one of my favorite kind of newer punk bands. Nothing like really simple rock music, but I've been trying to see them for years, and I'm really looking forward to that. Also, Bon Iver are playing, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what that kind of stage show is going to consist of.
Yeah, especially with the last album.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on.
Mental stuff. So that's basically what I've been listening to. I've made myself a playlist. I want to be that guy at the front that knows every song by every band, but liked them before they were cool.
Oh, you're so hipster. That's why I love you, buddy.
You're the nerd, I'm the hipster. It's a dynamic that works. That's us high-fiving. But really, it was just me high-fiving myself. Friends, I think that's all we have time for today.
Yeah, I think that's it.
John, stay sharp.
Dylan.
Oh, God. Stay sharp. Cut.